Take a quick break from the OG 150 challenge to jump into the expanded format with Centiskorch VMAX. Welcome back everyone to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today, as I mentioned, we are going to take a look at Expanded Centiskorch. We've seen a lot of expanded tournaments recently over on LimitlessTCG.com. If you are interested in those type of events, there are plenty of tournaments over there that you can go and check out. This is not sponsored, by the way. This is my just recommendation from you that you go over there and kind of investigate if you are interested in playing a little bit more competitively. The expanded format is a very interesting place to play, so we're going to check out this Centiskorch deck today. We'll jump over to PTCGO and see how the thing's going to work. So Centiskorch is not necessarily a difficult deck to play, but it is a lot of fun at the moment. It's actually one of the top decks in Standard, as well as being incredibly powerful in Expanded. So I would definitely recommend, if you can, to try and get a copy of this card because it's very, very strong. It's only one attack, G-Max Centinferno, but it's very powerful. 40 damage plus 40 more for every fire energy attached to the Centiskorch. And then when you attack, you can also grab an energy from the discard pile and attach it to this Pokemon as well. So it powers itself up. It's a very, very good attacker. We've got a couple of things that we can do to partner up with Centiskorch V in this deck. Firstly, we obviously do have 4 copies of the supporter card Welder, which allows us to power up Centiskorch VMAX in one turn. But since we're playing in Expanded, we also have access to an older card. This one's from Flashfire, one of the X and Y sets, called Blacksmith. And this effectively does the same thing as Welder, except instead of attaching 2 fire energy cards from hand, it attaches them from the discard pile. There's no ability to draw more cards here, but that's okay because you can get energies that have been discarded back with Blacksmith. Very, very powerful. Instead of pairing it up with another attacker like Silvally-GX or using scoop-up nets and things like that to get extra damage ticks, we actually rely on a slightly different strategy in Expanded, utilizing the Garbodor to lock opponents' abilities, as well as our own, but specifically our opponents. And this can be very, very frustrating. In fact, it's led to an Expanded format at the moment that has kind of stopped with it's kind of stopped using abilities on Pokemon quite frequently because Garbotoxin is incredibly powerful. If we attach a tool to this Garbodor, there are no abilities available in play apart from Garbotoxin. So there's just none at all. It means we can't use things like Crobat V, we can't use Dark Asset, we can't use things like Dedenne-GX, DAA Change, and also Tapu Lele with Wonder Tag, a very popular card in Expanded, can't be played as well. We're going to play all of our copies of these cards before we get our Garbodor into play, and then we will go from there. We also have 1 copy of Blacephalon-GX as a backup attacker in this deck. Mind Blown can be incredibly powerful in the late game to get a one-shot on something that might have a lot of HP. Maybe your energy is spread out. Mind Blown, 2 energy, 50 times the amount of fire energy attached to your Pokemon you put in the Lost Zone. That can increase very quickly. We also have Burst GX, which is a very powerful 1 energy attack, which just says discard one of your prize cards. Doesn't say take one, discard it, but it's still gone, so you don't need to worry about it. And if it's an energy, you can attach it, but that's okay. Burst GX can potentially win us some games in the late game. Apart from that, there are a lot of expanded cards that are staples in here, especially for fire decks. Things like Fiery Flint is obviously available. We have a copy of Scorched Earth, as well as 1 copy of Heat Factory, which you might want to look into. We have Ultra Ball as well for Pokemon Search, which links in quite nicely with Quick Ball, and we also have a copy of Max Potion, which means that we can heal off some damage on our Centiskorch VMAX, our other supporters, and Guzma, and also a copy of Pokemon Ranger, just in case we run into ADP. This is a very, very good deck. Like, I've had a lot of fun with it. It's quite expensive to put together, but if you give it a chance, you will definitely see results with it. We'll jump over onto the ladder now and see if I can't get a couple of wins. Alright, here we go. We've got a decent start here, and our opponent's mulliganed. Unfortunately, we are going second, but that's okay. Looks like our opponent has a Garbodor and also a Silent Lab, which indicates to me we are probably going to see Ultra Necrozma. It's a very, very powerful basic attacking Pokemon, so we need to be careful of that. There is a Trubbish in the active. Now, we've got a decent hand, but not a decent hand going first. I'm going to Fiery Flint here, discard a Fire Energy and also a Welder. We have VS Seeker, so I can get that back to grab a bunch of Fire Energies here. We also have Dowsing Machine in hand, so we can grab the Welder back at any time. And then I'm just going to... I think I might just leave it... I probably should do... let's Quick Ball. We'll get rid of a Fire Energy and then grab ourselves a copy of... Just double check here. What have we got in this deck? We've got plenty of stuff left. Let's grab ourselves another. We could grab another Centiskorch. I think that's probably fine. Part of me is kind of thinking maybe a Crobat, but I like having the double Centiskorch. And this means that we've got Blacksmith to power up our active if we want to, and we also have access to Welder with VS Seeker or with Dowsing Machine to attack with Centiskorch V next turn, which would be very, 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 very good if we find the VMAX. Here's that Ultra Necrozma we were talking about. It's pretty powerful. They've played down a Silent Lab. We've managed to top deck Heat Factory, which is super good. I'm going to go for the Welder here. Hopefully we can draw 3 really strong cards. Not super amazing, but we do at least have access to Fire Crystal. That'll go nicely in combination with the Heat Factory that we drew. This will allow us to draw 3 more cards. Let's discard a Fire Energy, grab 3 more. Unfortunately, we don't have an attack this turn. Unless we can attack with Burning Train if we want to. Get a Dowsing Machine here. Gonna get rid of a Fire Energy and the Scorched Earth to grab a Quick Ball. That seems fine. And then we can start to hunt down a VMAX with our Dedenne-GX. Now, if we hit the VMAX, we're in a pretty solid spot. They will be able to draw more cards, though. We do find the VMAX with the Ultra Ball. It's just a matter of what we want to discard here. Probably Quick Ball. Great Catcher doesn't seem super, super good in this situation because our opponent won't be playing many GX Pokemon. So we're just going to Gmax Centinferno here, take the knockout. Our opponent will get access to some more cards, but we don't mind. We have 3 pretty good cards in hand. We're about to take a prize. And a VS Seeker, that's pretty good. I don't mind that at all. Now, we are likely to see our... Yep, I was about to say our abilities turned off here. There's a Garbodor for us. We have our own Garbodor, but frankly, it doesn't really matter in this matchup. They've got the Double Dragon Energy on their Ultra Necrozma. They're going to be able to do 170 damage. 170 damage for 2 energy. That's because the Ultra Necrozma's ability says that normally, if that ability is in effect, that they can only attack... I think it's when there's 2 or less prize cards remaining, or something similar to that. It's very, very low. But because of Garbodor and Double Dragon Energy, they can get that going much sooner. And we've managed to top deck a Fire Energy, which is really, really good. I think I want to put that on the benched Centiskorch, to be honest. We can Welder. We'll put those energies onto the bench. And we've found a Crobat, but that's no use to us. Because we obviously have the Silent Lab in play and also the Garbodor, which is pretty powerful. We're going to put the energy there. We're going to Gmax Inferno, take a knockout, and hope that our opponent cannot get an attack off. It's interesting to note as well that Luster of Downfall also means that we are forced to have one of our energy discarded, which means that against other decks, the Baby Ultra Necrozma deck can be incredibly powerful. If you want to see that deck in action, I think I've got like an older version of it on the channel. Just search for Sableyes Ultra Necrozma. You'll probably find it. I could put a thing in at the top, but I'm not going to because that's the type of person that I am at the moment. I'm just not interested in doing that. And a Cynthia from our opponent to shuffle their hand. If they don't get an attack, we're in a good spot. They've got an attack. We're in an average spot. Luster of Downfall will take a knockout, which is really, really painful for us. We at least have VS Seeker, which is good, but we need to find access to a VMAX. I'm going to promote the Trubbish here. Oh, there's a VMAX. Okay. Well, suddenly this turns a lot easier, isn't it? Let's see. I think we probably go with a... I mean, the VS Seeker is tempting. We could go for Blacksmith or for Welder here. We have Fiery Flint to find some energy in the deck. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do. Just discard Crobat and Garbodor. We don't need either of them. grab ourselves some energy. This means that now we can VS Seek it for Welder, attach those energies and draw 3 cards, which is the most important thing. I'd really like to see a reset stamp at some point as well. I can't remember if we actually have them in the deck or not. We might not actually have them, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to leave 1 energy in hand because we don't want to be left without any draw options, and obviously this deck does heavily rely on cards like Welder for draw. But we are in a good spot here. If they choose to gust up the Dedenne, we can actually end them to 1, which would be really, really powerful, and that may be the way we end up winning this game. We kind of have to hope that they miss attacks, right? We're going to be able to take another knockout. That's not a problem. It's a question as to whether or not they are going to be able to easily get the second attack on us, right? If they can attack 2 turns in a row, they're going to win. As silly as that sounds. So, what are they up to here? They've put the what do you call it? The lucky egg on the Garbodor here, on the bench. That suggests to me that that might potentially be a bailout option. They actually elect not to go for it, which is something else there. That means we're going to be able to get ourselves a free prize here. I like this. I can also Ultra Ball away Centiskorch and Ultra Ball to grab Blacephalon-GX. Burst GX could be a win condition for us in this game, so I'm going to attach, and then I'm going to end. We'll just end our opponent to a low hand size. 3 cards might be enough for us to get away with here. We'll take a knockout, attach another energy, and take a prize. We're in a very, very powerful position if they don't get an attack off. So we've put them in a spot where they've got as little resources as possible. If they don't get an attack off, we're going to be a-okay. They might choose to go into the Garbodor here, but if they go into the Garbodor to draw more cards, then we can just attack with Centiskorch and then use the GX from Blacephalon to win the game. They have to get 2 Ultra Necrozmas and 2 Double Dragon Energies in order to win this game. They've only got 4 cards in hand. Guzma is frustrating. That's incredibly bad. We don't have any energy left. We just have to pass. Okay, that was awful. That was genuinely awful. That was probably the worst thing that could have happened to us. Here's a Nest Ball, but they don't have Switch and an attachment. We're just going to have to keep passing here. This is going to be very awkward at the end of this game as to whether or not we can get this Dedenne out of the active. I don't know if we have access to energy. I don't know if we have access to anything that we could use to get out of the active here. I mean, maybe there's 1 energy left, maybe? They're using computer search here. They're going to find a draw card, you would assume. Double Dragon Energy and then Professor's Research. That's 2 really good cards for them to have. They may be able to knock out the Dedenne this turn. If they do, that would be very, very frustrating. They're going to get rid of our Floatstone to make it harder for us to do what we need to do. Another Trubbish coming down. I was afraid that was going to be a Ultra Necrozma. Nestball can't find Ultra Necrozma, can it? Or maybe they're just not in the deck. I can't remember. What does Nestball even do? That's the comment question of the day. Field Blower. Alright, that's not particularly... Hang on, no it is. It is, because we can get rid of the Silent Lab and the Garbodor. We can get rid of the egg. Then we can use Tapu Lele, and hopefully there's a Guzma here. There is! There's a Guzma in the deck. Alright, cool. This means we are very likely to go on to win this game. They don't have a huge amount of options. We're going to take a knockout on this Ultra Necrozma. They need to gust again. They need to gust again. I don't know if we have a response to that second gust, so we have to hope. We have to hope. Teammates. It's not a gust, but it's not a winning card for them, but it's not a losing card either. That's what I'm trying to get at. They've got double Ultra Necrozma. Luster of Downfall. They're just going to attack. We win. Beautiful. Fantastic stuff. So we can just declare our attack with Centiskorch. We have enough energy. We managed to get a win. That's a tough matchup. That's a very, very tough matchup. So yeah, very lucky in the end to get that win. We'll try another one. So we've got one of those hands that is a little bit awkward. It looks good at first glance. I mean, we've got Crobat to draw cards, we've got Blacephalon-GX, we've got Centiskorch, there's even a welder in here. Plus we've got the Centiskorch VMAX for next turn. But unfortunately, this is actually a pretty average hand. We don't have any energy, which is a genuine problem. And Crobat is not going to be able to draw enough cards for us to reliably expect to get it. So we're kind of living and dying off of the top deck here. Our opponent is playing Pikachu and Zekrom, which is a pretty good deck in Expanded, if I don't say so myself. It's a pretty good deck in Standard. Actually spent some time over on a live stream on YouTube. I was like, oh, Quick Ball, that's a good card to get. It's actually on just a second, guys. We're going to Quick Ball away the Guzma. Let's grab ourselves a Trubbish. Let's remove the abilities from our opponent. That would be incredible. We can also use Crobat to draw a few more cards now. I would love to see our energy, which is good. We've got one. Let's welder to the active, I suppose. It seems really weak, but it's probably the best play that we have. And we've actually stumbled upon another energy there. We don't have anything really in our discard pile, so I think we just have to... Radiating Heat can be something. We won't discard an energy, but next turn we can at least attack. Anyway, I was saying, I streamed on YouTube. Can you believe it? You may have already seen it. You may have seen the video at the very least, with some Pikarom in Standard playing, doing some Players Cup. And if you're into live streams, I'm going to be live streaming on YouTube almost exclusively from now on. So if you are interested, keep an eye out. I'm going to try and schedule them about a week in advance, so there might be a block where you see like 5 videos from me all at once. They're all going to be like scheduled streams, so just keep an eye out. We've actually come into an absolutely busted hand here, so let's attach a couple of energies with Welder. We've top decked a VMAX, excellent. We've got ourselves a Garbodor, which is also excellent. And now the question is, can we find ourselves a tool with which to shut our opponent's abilities down? If we can, that would be fantastic. I just feel like we're going to lose a lot of resources if we go for it, but you know what? That's fine by me. I'm going to grab a Dedenne. We're going to get going here. There's plenty of energy left. There's plenty of Floatstones in the deck. We're going to find them both. We're going to find energy and Floatstone. We found an energy. That's fine. I can live with that. Let's just attach here, and then G-Max Centinferno will take the knockout. That's actually perfect there, that we got the energy, because we may not have been able to get the knockout without it. I haven't actually done the maths. I don't know. Please don't sue me. I'm not entirely sure. Our opponent sends the Pikarom up, but they do still have access to abilities, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, we can remove that access next turn. We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. We're getting End. End to 4 is a little bit awkward, but that looks like a pretty decent set of cards to get. Not amazing, but acceptable. We can attach to the Centiskorch. We're currently doing 240, I believe. No, 200, because we didn't have an energy in the discard pile last turn. So we can attach here to do 240. That means we probably want to top deck, I don't know, a Field Blower. I also wouldn't mind top decking a Welder. That would be pretty good. Floatstone is acceptable. That means that we've got bench space. But unfortunately, we don't have access to our abilities, I don't think. Let's just keep going here. We've got a bunch of energy. We can Quick Ball away one of those energies. Grab ourselves another Centiskorch. That seems like an acceptable term to me. We can attach to that Centiskorch if we wish. We've just got... It's such an awkward hand to have. We need to attack here with the VMAX. Let's put some damage on this thing, and hopefully we can find a VMAX next turn. Worst case scenario, we can use Blacephalon-GX to get a prize with our GX attack, and then try and gust out that Pikarom on the bench later on for a knockout. We're just in an awkward spot here. You can see why having Garbodor is both a blessing and a curse. We removed the Sudowoodo's ability so that we can get a full bench of Pokemon again, but we want the bench space so that we can play a Pokemon with an ability. It's just unfortunate. And there's a full Blitz. Okay, so we're in a position now where if we find Welder off of the top deck, we're going to be living the dream. If not, we just attach to Blacephalon and get a GX attack off. We play forward the Garbodor. Okay, we've got a welder. Let's go for the welder. Do we welder? How do we do this? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach... Oh, it's such an interesting choice. I could Mind Blown to guarantee the knockout. I think it's actually better to put them both on the Centiskorch, though. That's an exceptional 3 cards. Let's put a Pokemon from our discard pile into our hand. We've got Centiskorch VMAX here. We also have Heat Factory and Fire Crystal. And this means that unless something insane happens, like a 4 Electro Power turn, which could happen, we probably go on to win this game. I'm going to attach to Blacephalon. I'm going to retreat into the Centiskorch. We're going to take a knockout. And we're going to hope that our opponent cannot get the 320 damage. Now, at the moment, they're dealing 190 with Boltons. They can attach another one. That'll be 220. They could potentially get another 2 with a Tapu Koko. That would be 280. They would need 1 Electro Power if they got all of those things to get a knockout. So perhaps I should have gone with the Centiskorch. Not the Centiskorch, the Blacephalon, because I would have forced them to get the Gust as well. This may have been a misplay, but to be honest, if he gets it, then I'm more than happy to include it, because this game has been decent. It's been pretty good. He's a Max Elixir. Does he find energy? No energy. Professor Juniper, so drawing 7 cards. This card's coming back, by the way. Professor's Research, in brackets, Juniper. Another attachment. Computer Search. If he plays Electro Power, he's grabbing it here. You would think he does. There it is. Okay, so we actually managed to lose that one. Probably should have gone for the Blacephalon-GX in the active, but to be honest, it's okay. Like, I don't mind losing that way. Picorom's a very good deck in every way, shape, and form. And now we're just seeing him style on us. Look at this. He's just gonna Electro Power a billion trillion times. Oh my goodness. Electro Power. How much damage is this gonna be doing? It's like 400 or something. 370. That's enough. That is enough. Alright, well, we live and learn there. We almost got there. We almost got the win, but alas, Picorom, too strong. One more game for you whilst we are on Expanded. We may as well get another one in. See if we can't get another victory with our Centiskorch VMAX deck list. And it looks like we're up against some sort of Alolan Ninetales deck. It looks to me, at a glance, like this is going to be the basic no energy version. Now, what this means is they're going to be doing damage based on the amount of tools that they have in their discard pile. I am afraid of that, and we've only got 1 Centiskorch in the deck, which is a bit unfortunate. We can at least attach an energy to it, and then Crobat for a few extra cards. That Floatstone is very, very big. We can Quick Ball away the Pokemon Ranger here to try and grab ourselves another attacker. I like the access to Blacephalon. We can put that down, and then I think we can just Dedenne. It's a bit disappointing to lose our Dowsing Machine, but it's not the end of the world. We're actually in a really good spot here for next turn. I'd really like to not lose this Trubbish if I can afford to, but it's not the end of the world. I'll get rid of the Rescue Stretcher and the VS Seeker here. Let's grab ourselves a... Why did I do that, actually? I probably didn't need to do that. Let's just hold on to all this stuff. We can retreat. I think I just go into the Centiskorch and Radiating Heat. Deal a little bit of damage. We're not going to discard anything, obviously, but next turn we are going to be able to get ourselves a VMAX and a Garbodor in play, which would be very, very powerful. But I am concerned that we are going to get knocked out by a Ninetales. Now, this might be an OG 150 deck. I could potentially play this. It has Alolan Ninetales in it, and as you know, Alolan Ninetales is still a Ninetales, and it still has the same dex number, so it still counts. I won't have any arguments otherwise. If they go for Zebstrika, yeah, that's going to be a Zebstrika. This is going to be pretty annoying for us if they are able to do this and continually get that draw power off, but luckily, next turn we have Garbodor ready and raring to go, so as long as we keep our Floatstone on that Trubbish, we will be able to get a knockout quite comfortably. They're going to gust up something with Fion here. This is a little unfortunate. I'll go for the Trubbish. You're going to hope that they don't knock it out. If they do, that's okay. They're just going to beacon. Alright, so they are never going to use Sprint again with Zeb Striker. There is that Alolan Ninetales. It's looking like the case. We're going to get ourselves a VMAX here. We're going to get ourselves a Garbodor as well. And then we can Dedenne... actually, no, we can't because we need the Garbodor. We can hold on to the Dedenne for later. Let's G-Max. G-Max Inferno. We'll just make an attack. That's fine. We'll just get a prize. Don't worry about it. I didn't click the Dedenne. No one heard me say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. This is awkward, to say the very least. We need to draw some cards, but, you know. It could be worse. They can't draw cards either. Nor can they use their Ditto on the bench, or their Fion, or their Zeb Striker. A life due on the active Ninetales is quite frustrating, because that will mean that that goes back into the hand, or at least I believe so. Let's play down the Centiskorch. Let's attach a Fire Energy. I feel like the best place is for it to go onto the Centiskorch. The life due, quite frustrating here, means that we're going to be able to attack, but we will not realistically achieve much more. Our opponent going to put the Ninetales in the active, but at least they can't draw cards. At least they can't draw cards. At least not with Zeb Striker anyway. They're going to need to use something other than Zeb Striker to get their attacks off. And see a bunch of Vulpixes and Ninetales going back into the deck. This little Ninetale is very powerful against ADP. Can very quickly get a knockout on ADPs, which is quite impressive. Muscle Band here, dealing 100 damage. So we live. We've top decked another energy, which is fine. Let's just take a knockout, and we're just gonna have to hope here that we can outpace our opponent. If we can, that would be great. They've not got the ability to draw cards, which I really like. It means that they're not going to be able to get through their deck as quickly as they need to. They are going to have access to Vulpixes, which means Beacon is 100% available to them here. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about it, nor am I worried about this Bursting Balloon damage, because even if they do attack me with a Ninetales next turn, which they are almost guaranteed to do, we're going to be set and ready to go, and top decking that Welder is exceptional stuff. Let's put it onto the Blacephalon on the bench, draw a few more cards. We've got a Quick Ball and another Energy. I feel like it's probably fine to just Quick Ball away the Trubbish. There's nothing left in the deck to even grab. Let's hold on to the Energy, I think. Well, maybe, no, let's hold on to it. Then we can G-Max Inferno. We're going to take a bunch of damage here, but it's not going to be too much. Only 60 from the Bursting Balloon. And we find ourselves in a position where we have two powered attackers, which is very, very good if we can find another VMAX. We need the next VMAX. We're going to have to attack with Blacephalon here, which might be a little bit awkward. That bomb is quite frustrating. 180 damage. Are we going to be able to deal less than that this turn? I think we can. And also, another really good thing for us here is that they do not have another Ninetales for next turn. Look at that, we just managed to top deck a Centiskorch VMAX. This is the second time in this video that that's happened. Let's retreat into it now and attack. We're dealing 120 damage, which is going to be a knockout. That's A-OK by me. We'll just attach that extra energy. No attack coming from our opponent next turn. We've got two powered attackers. They've not taken a prize yet. I feel like we are going to be able to win this game. They're going to need to get rid of the Garbodor's Float Stone in order to deal any damage this turn. We've got a Stealthy Hood. Oh, wow. Actually, Stealthy Hood's massive. Oh, my goodness. I didn't even think about that. Stealthy Hood means that the Ditto is more than usable. Yikes. Okay, well, they're going to get some damage off here, and they're actually going to get quite a lot of damage off. Battle Compressor will get even more Pokemon tool cards into the discard pile. That Stealthy Hood catching me by surprise there. I don't think that they ever take a one-shot on this Centiskorch. Surely not. Surely we don't see a one-shot. But well, could you imagine if it did happen? 320 damage. They would need to have 31 or 32 tool cards in the discard pile for that to happen. So I don't think it is likely. 160. So that's 50%. That's a lot. They've worked pretty hard to get there, though. We've got two powered attackers. Well, hang on. They've got the ability to win this game this turn if everything goes their way. we probably need to be careful here. Because I've just realized they have 3 prizes left. I think we might need to, I think we might just need to hope. I didn't realize that they've already taken 3 prizes. I've made a fool of myself. We could theoretically lose this turn, but you know what? We're not going to. We're going to retreat into the Blacephalon. I think that's fine. Then we can just use our Burst GX attack, discard one of our prizes, and we're left again with 2 attackers. Hopefully they don't have boss. If they have boss's orders, they can actually just win. They don't have it. We win. That was so close. We almost lost that one. Well played to you, Sir Klefki. I am sorry I didn't say well played back. Didn't get a chance to there. We managed to get the win, but we very easily could have lost to that Ninetales deck. So a quick little foray into Expanded there. Centiskorch getting the job done in a couple of games, getting beaten by Pikarom, but that's okay. It's a very, very powerful deck. I would definitely recommend it, and if you haven't gone into Expanded before, this might be a deck that you can kind of get to grips with this format. You know, it's a standard deck, but does some extra little things in Expanded. It might be an easy way to transition across. I'm going to try and get that Ninetales deck working. If I can find a similar list or get something going, then that would be great. That might be one of the OG 150 decks coming up very soon. Got plenty of other ideas. If you want to let me know what you think I should do next, down in the description there is a whole bunch of links to contact me, or you just write in the comments. You know, that's also fine. Like and subscribe, do all those good things. And don't forget to join up to be a member if you can afford to. If you're willing to put a tiny little bit of money into the channel, that would be fantastic. Just to show your support, that would be great. If you don't want to do it, it doesn't matter. Nothing is going to change. I really, really appreciate those who have already signed up. In fact, got a nice little slide for you. Thank you very much to all of my members, specifically those at the higher tiers. Second tier members, Victor Villarreal, the Dadbod, Connor Tolte, and Dario Bearswill. I hope I pronounced that one right. Let me know if I did down in the comments. Also to our third tier members, Fernando Ortiz and YOLO FTW. Thank you very much for your support on the channel. It genuinely means a lot. Thank you everyone. For more from the Sableye, stay tuned, subscribe, etc. See ya.